The slap echoed louder than the room itself. It wasn't just the sound, it was the silence that followed. A U.S. Navy admiral's hand had struck a female SEAL across the face. Right there in the briefing hall, in front of men who had survived firefights together. Her head barely moved. Her eyes didn't flare. But something unseen shifted, like a fault line waking beneath calm ground. No one spoke. No one breathed. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you were watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Her name was Lieutenant Mara Holt, though almost no one in that room knew it yet. She stood at parade rest, jaw tight, tasting copper. Not from pain, but restraint. The Admiral, broad-shouldered, decorated, certain had mistaken silence for weakness. He believed rank was armor. He believed fear traveled only downward. He was wrong. Mara had learned early that power didn't always shout. Sometimes it waited. She had waited through Bud S., through nights when the ocean seemed determined to erase her name, through instructors who watched her fail just to see if she would quit. She never did. Not once. And now, in this sterile hall smelling of coffee and polished floors, she waited again. The Admiral turned away as if the moment were finished. A dismissal. A correction delivered. His voice resumed, sharp and dismissive, speaking of discipline and respect. Around him, commanders stared straight ahead, but something had cracked in their stillness. They knew better. You don't touch an operator like that, not without consequences. Mara's pulse slowed, thoughts sharpened. She remembered the village that burned because orders came too late, the hostage who lived because she disobeyed one, remembered learning that justice wasn't loud, it was precise. And when she spoke now, her voice carried none of the anger the Admiral expected. "Permission to speak, sir." The room stiffened. The Admiral scoffed without turning, denied. She didn't move, didn't flinch. The air itself seemed to pause, dust floating in sunlit beams like frozen stars. Someone shifted in the back. A chair creaked. The Admiral felt it then, not fear. Not yet, but attention bending away from him. Senior Commander stepped forward. "Quietly, sir. You may want to hear her." That was the first crack. The Admiral turned, irritation flashing. "This briefing is classified," Mara finished softly. "Yes, sir." "So is the operation you approved last month under Task Group Orion?" The name landed like a dropped weapon. Whispers rippled. Orion was ghost-level clearance. Only a handful in the room should have known it. Admiral's expression hardened, but his eyes betrayed calculation now, not authority. "You're out of line," he said. Mara nodded once. "I was there." Silence rushed back in, heavier this time. She spoke not with pride, but with weight. She described the extraction that went wrong, the intel that was buried, the call she made when comms failed. Her hands trembled, not from fear but memory. She hadn't planned to speak, but the moment had chosen her. The Admiral's breath shortened. He knew the truth when he heard it. Operators don't embellish, they report. A moral tension pulled tight across the room. Should rank protect wrongdoing? Should silence protect careers? Every eye now was on Mara, not as a subordinate, but as a mirror. Then the door opened. The fleet commander entered, metals catching light, face unreadable. He listened. He didn't interrupt. When Mara finished, he turned not to her but to the Admiral. "Did you strike her?" The question wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. The Admiral hesitated. That was the second crack. His voice came quieter. "I corrected her." The fleet commander nodded slowly. "She saved 12 lives under Orion, including mine." The room seemed to exhale all at once. What followed wasn't shouting. It was procedure. It was consequence. The Admiral's posture collapsed inward, certainty draining away. He stepped toward Mara then, not as a superior but as a man realizing the ground beneath him was gone. "I didn't know," he said. The words tasted bitter. Mara met his eyes. "That doesn't make it right, sir. 10 minutes earlier, he had believed power was something you took. Now he understood it was something you earned." He asked for forgiveness, not formally, not cleanly. It wasn't enough. But it was real. Later, as the hall emptied, a junior officer approached Mara, eyes bright with something like hope. Others followed. Not applause, respect, doesn't clap, stands quietly and remembers. Mara stepped outside into the open air. The wind brushed her cheek where the mark had already faded. She touched it once, then let her hand fall. She wasn't defined by what was done to her, but by what she did next. Because courage doesn't always fight back. Sometimes it stands still and changes everything. And as the sun dipped low over the base, the silence returned, not heavy this time, but calm. It's the kind that follows truth finally spoken. Because dignity doesn't vanish, it waits and it finds its way back. If this story moved you, share it with someone who believes strength speaks softly. Subscribe to Whispered Words for more stories where courage hides in plain sight. Leave a comment. Your voice matters here.